Hey guys, this is Matt Miller with PolitiBrawl News. A reporter just asked President Trump, "What is a woman?" His answer is absolutely incredible. Watch it right here.
You and your team apprehended a top 3 leader in the violent gang MS-13 yesterday, just 30 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. What has made you and your team so effective in finding, locating, apprehending, and deporting these violent, illegal migrants?
I love this guy. I wish more people would ask questions like that, but thank you. That's very nice. I appreciate it. And they happen. All you're doing is being fair with you when you ask a question in that way. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and all of the rest of law enforcement, and I think we have to include ICE and Border Patrol, Paul of Border Patrol, the whole group from Border Patrol. They're so incredible, and it's dangerous stuff, hard stuff. And it's really an unforced error because these people were allowed into this country. They shouldn't have been in this country. They would have never been in this country. We're getting rid of some of the worst criminals in the world. They came out of jails and mental institutions from all over the world. But Pam and the whole group, and Kash, who's here, and it's so good to have him. I see him all over. He's working 24 hours a day, but the job they've done is incredible. And they caught one of the worst criminals in the world, I guess, in terms of evilness. You don't get any worse than the MS-13 guys and the Tren de Aragua guys. You could flip a coin. It's a rough group. And, the big thing is they have to be able to do their job. I was watching it on television like you, and I saw the home that he lived in a good area, but boy, they had a lot of weaponry in there, right? Highly sophisticated, really brutal stuff. So I appreciate the question, and I just want to thank Kash and Pam and the whole group for doing a fantastic, and the local law enforcement who's been so terrific, even first responders. So I want to thank everybody, and thank you very much.
Mr. President, I wanted to say, first of all, happy Women's Month. You do so much for women by, first of all, keeping men out of women's sports, and you platform so many.
That was an easy one. That was crazy.
You platform so many great women, like your Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. You also have Caroline Levitt doing a great job as press secretary. Now Alina will be joining as well. Since Democrats seem to struggle answering this question, I wanted to ask you, what is a woman, and why is it important that we understand the difference between men and women?
Well, it's sort of easy to answer for me because a woman is somebody that can have a baby under certain circumstances. She has a quality. A woman is a person who's much smarter than a man, I've always found. A woman is a person that doesn't give a man even a chance of success. And a woman's a person that in many cases has been treated very badly, because I think that what happens with this crazy issue of men being able to play in women's sports is just ridiculous and very unfair to women and very demeaning to women. And that's got to be about a 94%. I read today it was a 94% issue. And I watched the other day, a congressman, a Democrat congressman, fighting for the fact that men should be allowed to compete essentially in women's sports. And I say, I hope they keep that going, because they'll never win another election. That's a big deal. But women are basically incredible people, do so much for our country, and we love our women, and we're going to take care of our women. Yeah.
Listen to that answer and then try to call Trump a misogynist, right? He's giving women a lot of credit. He's saying that women, they are very successful and smart. They're smarter than men. In many ways, that's true with certain things, and certain things men are better at, but he's giving a very gracious, positive answer to the question. Of course, he's not taking it too seriously. But really the point here is that the Republicans and the people on the right, the conservatives, are actually fighting for women's rights. We're the ones who actually care about women's privacy in locker rooms, in bathrooms, in spaces that are meant for women, to just be female spaces. That's very important. It's important that they feel safe. It's important that those spaces are not encroached on by biological males, and biological males especially that are pretending to be women or dressed up like women or otherwise. The other thing is with women's sports. Women have the right to have fair athletic competitions, and we can't throw that away just to comply with or to appease this very small but very loud and radical minority of people who are trying to jam this woke gender theory down our throats. Now, I have a lot of sympathy for people who have mental health issues or gender dysphoria, or somebody who's really struggling with those circumstances, but we can't sacrifice the rest of women just to make those people happy, just to buy into their claims and their self-identity and things like that. The Democrats, who prior to this have deemed themselves the champion of feminism, the champion of women's rights, they are perfectly willing, and they've shown as much, that they are willing to sacrifice female spaces, private spaces, fairness in women's competitions, and completely redefine and make confusing and ambiguous what a woman actually is. The question is so straightforward and easy that it should be a joke. But when you give this same question to people on the left, people who have bought into this woke ideology and this different worldview, they struggle with it because they don't want there to be a definition for what a woman is. They want gender to be this cloudy, ambiguous spectrum, and there aren't two categories that match the two categories of human beings that there are. There's men who have XY chromosomes, they have a penis, they have different hormone compositions, they have testosterone. Their anatomy and physiology is completely different. They have better, stronger bone density, a wider frame. Their skulls are different. Everything about them is so different. And women have the ability to give birth, unless, there's exceptions to that. But generally speaking, a female anatomy is the anatomy that can give birth to human beings. Men can't. So if we just look, with politics aside, biologically, as a scientist, at the two categories of human beings that there are, we call one male, we call one female. And it's been like that since the beginning of time. And just now, the Democrats, the left, they're trying to completely throw this out, throw out the baby with the bathwater, and make gender a confusing, muddy mess that's convoluted, that's meant to undermine traditional values. Again, like I said, the LGBT community, support it, whatever it is. If you want to identify a certain way, just don't expect the rest of society to completely change to appease your self-identity. You shouldn't be discriminated against or bullied. You should have the same rights as everyone else. But if you were born a man, just because you change your name and you dress and present as a female, and maybe you had other more permanent surgeries done to you to try to appear female, you can't go and compete in women's sports now because you have inherent advantages having been born a man. This is common sense. It's kindergarten level logic, and meaning it's very simple. This is very straightforward stuff. And the left has been doing gymnastics, mental gymnastics, to try to, again, throw this all out, convolute it. The right deals in objective reality. We know that facts are facts. We actually believe in the science. We think that there's objective ways to measure the universe. The left wants it to be completely relative and subjective, even when it comes to other things like morals and ethics. The right is not willing to sacrifice the rights of women to adhere to these people. And we've drawn a line in the sand, and Trump has been very good on this issue. He's made sure that women have the rights that they should be afforded, that they deserve. I want to hear what you guys think of Donald Trump's answer. This was a great moment from the press conference today. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more from PolitiBrawl and PolitiBrawl News. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I'll see you next time.